and it's funny to watch it, you know.
You're full of it all the time. You have constant ooze just leaking out of you.
Well, it's just the way it is. It's the way I'm built.
Keep
I don't
talking.
know what else to tell you about it. I guess it's just, you know, when you have a bunch of experiences living it, doing it, you know what you know. You know, I always say it. I know what I've done, and I don't give people advice on stuff that I haven't done myself. Otherwise, it's just a theory thrown out there. So I guess it's easy for me to talk about because it's something I've done, something I've experienced, and you know, when you've really applied yourself, not, you know, oh, I did that one weekend. When you've really applied yourself and you have, you know, worked 3 days and 4 nights without sleeping, that I did, or, you know, starting my very first shop when I worked until I could not keep my eyes open anymore, and you're in northeastern South Dakota and it's cold as hell outside and the shop floor never warms up in your little shop with hardly any insulation and a dinosaur heater, and so you lay a piece of cardboard down on the floor, like from a box from a hood or something, and you put the heat lamp, the baking lamp for paint, over you so that you are warm, and you lay down on that piece of cardboard and you go to sleep. You know, that's something most people will never know about, experience about. And they can talk about it like they know, or they can say, hey, you know, I talked to Kirby and he was telling me this story. I can imagine what it's like, and you don't imagine what it's like if you haven't done it. And at 7:45, you wake up after sleeping, you know, 2-3 hours, and you go outside and you flip the sign to open again, and you start at it again. It's no go home, take a shower. I didn't even have water in that shop other than the summer, and that water came from a hose run through the wall from the unit next to me that had water, but in the winter it was too cold, so it would freeze up. The unit next to me, they didn't heat it, and so I couldn't have water over the winter. And so what I did was fill up empty milk jugs with water. I'm serious.
Oh, I know. I was going to ask you about how you went to the bathroom.
Well, that's another funny story. I don't know if you want to know it.
We do. Everybody that follows us wants to know the history of Kirby Witt. I mean, there's more to come, but let's just go with that one, because that's interesting.
That's fine, but I would fill up empty milk jugs with water and keep them in my shop, and keep a toothbrush and toothpaste out there and whatnot. So I wake up in the morning, be able to brush my teeth. You know, if I want to wash my hands, we want to wet the floor down to paint, because I didn't have a paint booth then or anything, you know. And kept rolling. But the bathroom story is funny because you got to realize if you're in, you know, northeastern South Dakota, and you know there might be 4 foot of snow on the ground, there might be 10 foot. You don't know. It just depends. But either way, the wind always blows, and there's no trees, and I'll guarantee you there's going to be a snow drift. So when you walk outside, you know, the last thing you want to do, you're semi-warm in the shop already, so the last thing you want to do is go outside with the wind blowing, it's 40 below, and take a whiz. And so my solution to that, there was a hole in the back wall of the shop that you could see through to the outside. You know, it's just a metal building. And so I took a piece of PVC pipe and hooked a funnel onto it. It was in the mixing room, which I actually insulated the mixer room and used a little electric heater like this big, like you bought at Kmart back in the day or whatever. And that room actually stayed warm then, and so created our own urinal, and that's, you know, what happened. If you had to do the number 2,
we not go
had
there.
Another story. You try to avoid that, but you know, that's the beginning. I mean, that's, you know, living in the trenches. You know, that's you know, being in the ditches, that's wanting it more than anything else, and willing to sacrifice more than, you know, sacrifice everything to make that happen. You know, when, you know, my buddies are out at, you know, field parties and kegers and hanging out with their girlfriend, putting, you know, badass stereos in their trucks and lifting them and doing all this stuff. I never did any of that. It was always about, you know, working, building, trying to get the next tool, trying to get the experience and learn more, you know, to make it happen. And so to me, it was just always the way I was. It wasn't something I read in a book, or, you know, there was no internet at the time, but you know, it wasn't a theory. It was, I was doing it, and I did it over and over and over and over and over because I had that drive and I had that goal of, I want to know how to do this, you know. And there wasn't anyone to help me out or set me up